Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Chicks and a Horror Flick. My name is Felicia Connor.
And I'm Tawny Ray.
And today we are talking about Halloween Kills, just released 2021. So really excited about that. But what's more exciting than even Halloween Kills is we have a very special guest. We have Haley Hoekstra, and
yay, welcome Haley.
Hi. Hello. I'm so happy to be here. I was so excited that Felicia asked me to help with so I've been doing the social media for Two Chicks and a Horror Flick for I think maybe 3-4 months since June-ish. But it's been so great working with these guys. Just for one, I love horror movies in general, and then doing social media has been awesome, and just seeing all the people that the podcast reaches, and the people you guys are able to connect with that are just equally as passionate about all things horror has been so cool. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome. We're happy to have you.
Yes.
I met Haley. We used to work together, and she has a real passion for social media and social media management. And so she's breaking into that and doing that. Maybe she'll start her own business, be a little entrepreneur. But, we were like, oh my God, we'd love your help. And so you've all engaged with our Instagram, the different stuff, and done the polls and all that type of stuff. Haley's
oh yeah, that's Haley.
Brilliant.
Oh,
yeah. Love it. We love it. And we love having you. And we were like, oh my God, we have to have her on the podcast.
Yes.
So
yeah,
we're introducing you. This is like your debutante ball.
My debut.
Your debut. We're introducing you to the world.
So you just mentioned it, but if you've seen any of the posts lately or the polls, Felicia I think had mentioned, Haley is killing it right now. She's helping us put together some super, super fun, engaging stuff. So if you've been on there and you've seen that, that's all Haley. She's fucking killing it.
Yeah. We love having you.
Thank you.
Something else that's fun and exciting is, if you're listening, you don't know, but if you go over to YouTube, even if you just hop over for a second, we are all dressed up. So we are starting a tradition that our last episode of October every year, we're going to dress up in Halloween costumes. So Tawny, what are we all dressed up as?
Let me tell you, and this was also Haley's idea.
Yes, it was.
We are characters from Kill Bill. So we are members of the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad.
Yes.
So Haley is, of course, Beatrix Kiddo, which let me just also say, I think they don't ever say her name.
No, they don't. They bleep it out, I think. Yeah,
that's right. So the Bride, also known as the Bride, also known as Black Mamba. That's her code name. And then Uma Thurman, played by Uma Thurman. Felicia is Oren Ishii. Her code name is Cottonmouth, and she's played by Lucy Liu. It got confusing because there's so many names, So I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm checking myself here on my. I got a tab up on Google Chrome.
Just the 3 names.
Yeah, just to get everybody's name right. And then I am California Mountain Snake is her code name, and she's played by Daryl Hannah, and her name is Elle Driver in the movie. So yeah, that's us.
It's fun.
Very cute.
It is fun, and I'm about to take off this eye patch because it's killing me.
Okay, perfect. I was worried about that.
So now we could, Haley is wicked hot. Tawny has a super agitating eye patch. And my sleeves...
it's like a whole other outfit.
It's like a fucking
blanket.
California king sheet. I keep sitting on these things. Oh, lordy lord.
Yeah, you could use those to trick or treat.
I could stuff a shit ton of candy, just dragging them down.
They're menacing.
So we're not going to talk too much about Kill Bill, but I just need to say, this is one of my favorite movies.
Yes, me as
ever.
well. Yeah, so we all
Great
agree.
movie. Yeah, I am a fan of Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know about him as a human. I haven't researched much about him, but I've seen his movies. I don't want to commit to anything. I don't want to commit to anything.
Like his work.
Yeah, just in case.
I think this might be my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
I can't commit to that. I would have to, I really would want to see a list.
Okay.
First.
Okay. We won't get into it.
I love it, but just, I would just to make sure that I'm
just so many good ones.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good ones. Oh, anyway. How much fun. I love it. Okay. Our next scene will be what are y'all drinking? Ooh. Let's start with Haley.
Yeah, Haley, you go first.
Let's start with me. So I think I was looking a little bit lost in the beer and wine store. So the man pointed me to this Oktoberfest. I told him I was looking for like a seasonal drink, but it's a beer. That's honestly all I know about it.
Oh.
Do you like beer?
Beer in a blue can.
Oh, yeah, I do like beer. I was like in between this and just like a seltzer or something, but yeah.
Yeah,
it just felt to me.
It feels very appropriate for sure.
Yes. Yeah. How about you, Tawny?
I've got some bourbon, the Four Roses that I had last time. I'm still drinking that. So I got that, and I'm just also chasing it with a little bit of an Ollie Pop, but I got this very cute koozie. It says "Here for the Booze."
That's
BOOS. I was at Walmart. I was like
Halloween
buying that.
Those Ollie Pops are so good too.
I love them. They're so good.
I need to
highly recommend. Them. They're expensive.
That's the thing that's non-alcoholic, right? It's just like
that's the fun one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they're like really low on sugar and stuff. That's what's nice about them.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I am drinking rosé.
Oh, nice. Very classy.
Yeah, I was stressed.
Yeah,
I was trying to get ready. The baby was talking to me. Those with little ones know. You're like, hey, just let me be so I could do my thing. Okay. And then mommy. If you've never seen the little snippet with Stewie from Family Guy going, mommy, mom. Okay, yeah. So I just grabbed a bottle of wine. So I thought I'd stick with it because that's what I've been drinking. My husband just brought me this new opened one. The other one I was drinking was Love, LVE, but I don't know who by. This one is Bel Rose Mediterranean Rose 2020.
Ooh.
So really loving the rosé. Make sure that the wine fridge is stocked up with that. I'm sounding real snobby. I'm sounding real snobby. My wine fridge.
Like swishing it around.
From France. Okay. All right. I'm having fun.
So I have a question for Haley.
Yeah, please.
Haley, give us a little bit of background on you and horror movies. Have you always loved them? What are your favorites? Just tell us about it.
So honestly, I have always really liked horror movies, which was why I was so excited that like not only doing social media, I love that you guys are focusing on horror movies. I think I've been watching, me and my friends used to just like sit in someone's basement in like middle through high school and just like find the most fucked up movie we could and put them on. And since then, I just have like an appreciation. I really like the like psychological thriller type or just like movie. Like I think one of my favorites when it first came out was like The Purge, or just like movies that are scary, but then also like kind of haven't been done before, or just like a completely new concept, stuff like that. But yeah, I've always been a pretty huge fan of horror films.
That's awesome. I have to ask because you said we always love to try to put on the most fucked up movies. What's one of those most fucked up movies that you remember?
Or your most fucked up movie that you've seen?
My God. Okay, so there was one, I think I might have sent you guys this one called The X Game. Not like X Games, but it was a Japanese.
It was like the downhill biking, and
that is fucked up.
It is.
I know, right? It is, I believe, a Japanese horror movie, but it's like I know that I was super scared at the time when I did watch it. I haven't watched it since, but it was these like kids in a classroom, and I'm gonna get this so wrong, but they basically had to like kill each other. And I don't know why. I wish I remembered more about it, but I do remember it being so fucked up, and I was like not okay afterwards.
Never went to school again.
Yeah, that was the end of the classroom for me. Yeah, that's the one I can think of off the top of my head.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah. I know you said you like The Purge. Are there any other favorites that you want to shout out?
Okay, yeah, so I've been telling Tawny that I think she'll love this movie. It's called Frozen, and I think I've watched it 2 or 3 times. But
wow.
Yeah, it's so good. But it's
wow.
like, so these kids get trapped up on a ski lift, and kind of like the like survival, but also like you're like putting yourself in their shoes, like what the fuck would I be doing in this moment? Like, I don't know, like it just seems impossible. Like they basically know they're about to die up there, and then just like them trying to figure out how to get down. And yeah, it's crazier than it sounds, but that's definitely up there.
I can imagine that being crazy. Because there was that one movie with James Franco, I thought. I think it's
127 Hours.
Yes. Yeah. But that true story. Yeah. So when you say like, oh gosh, and there was the other one where Alive, where that team, the plane crashed in, it's like a true story. The other one is too, where the plane crashed and they ended up having to revert to cannibalism and stuff. Like,
oh yeah.
The last one that I can think of that just popped in my head was The Orphan. Have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
Oh, I have not seen this one.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that one, well, that one's just fucked up, but I don't know when it came out, but that has haunted me.
It's been on the list forever for me. Because people talk about it all the time. And I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think the first time seeing it was definitely, because it's just like a weird concept that you also have to be figuring out at the same time as everything just being creepy.
Oh, you know what else I want to say real quick?
Yeah, do it.
Do you like how I'm shouting out these things that I watched like weeks ago? I did this last week. I'm going to do it again. Because I also watched this like 3 weeks ago. But I just want to give a shout out to the movie Haunt. Because it's very Halloween-y. And I hadn't seen it, and I can't believe I hadn't seen it. I was fucking mad about it. I was like, where was this? Why didn't anybody tell me about this movie? Anyway, so go watch it. That's all.
Oh, I love it.
Haunt. Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. Felicia did just send like 10 different movies in the recommendations.
I know, movie recommendations channel.
Oh gosh, I have to
did
say.
you just watch all those?
I have to say, so last Wednesday, I went, my husband, he won an award at work. And so we went to a dinner where his team and the people who won awards and stuff like that. And it was a nice dinner. And on my way, the Uber driver was like, he asked what we do. And I mentioned the podcast. He's like, oh my gosh. And he just started giving me movies. Then he followed us and he was like, oh my gosh. And I said, we'll shout you out if we watched the movie. And he's like, aha. And so then when I got there, that's all anybody cared about. Like, because Steve talks about me at work. They're like, oh, we hear you do podcast. And then his boss is like, whenever he introduced me, he's like, oh, this is Steve and this is his wife. And she does podcasts. And so it was just, And it's funny. It's just so cool because just like me, I've already mentioned the story before, but like not really knowing what horror is way back when I first met Tawny a couple years ago, 1 year ago, I don't know. The people were the same, like, oh, I don't really like horror movies, but you know what I did like? And they'll say something, I'll be like, well, that's a horror movie. And so then we get into this, they're like, oh, what about this? And every single person that talked to me was like, oh, have you seen this? What about this? Please watch this. We're going to follow you. Like, it was so great. And then on the way home, the whole ride, the Uber driver was talking to us about horror movies.
Different one?
Yeah, different horror movies. So,
but a different Uber.
Oh yeah, totally different Uber driver.
Okay.
That's why. So I was pretty tipsy driving. Well, I wasn't driving home. I was in an Uber. I just said I was in an Uber. But for everyone listening, what Tawny and Haley are talking about, we have a Two Chicks Slack channel where we run our business, and I'm just adding every movie that anybody says, oh my God, please watch this. So it's just going off in the Slack channel. And then I'm tipsy and I'm like, I need business cards, Tawny and Haley.
Yeah.
I need business cards now.
Like, okay. We'll get that going.
It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, you guys are kind of a big deal.
It was fun. I hope so. Okay, well, something I've watched was Midnight Mass. I'm continuing to watch that. And I can just say, holy shit and wow. Is what I want to say right now is holy shit and wow. But I'm not done with it. Anything you've been watching, Haley, lately? Listening to or watching?
Yeah. Okay, so another podcast that I listen to is called Something Was Wrong. It's like kind of a mix between true crime and like almost soap opera-ish, but that has been really good. They do like kind of like interview style, but just like crazy things that like happen to these people's lives, and they like tell their stories. And then a show that I've been watching is called In the Dark. It's on Netflix it's kind of like another crime-ish show, but it goes on for a while about this blind girl whose friend died, and then they have to like try to find the killer, and it's like,
okay.
Yeah, well, I like those kind of shows, but that's my new one.
Oh, I love it. All right, do we want to get in it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's get in it. Tonight, we are talking about the brand new Halloween Kills 2021. I personally watched it on Peacock, so you can see it on Peacock. They released it there, or you could see it in the movie theater. The director is David Gordon Green, and I giggle, not because of David, but because I have his name with a dash, and usually what I do is write other movies that they've done.
Okay.
So there's none?
Apparently, I did not write any. I'm sure he has it here. I have it now. Not skipping a beat. So Halloween Kills, Halloween 2018, Halloween Ends. Oh, Pineapple Express. Oh, shit. I loved that. The Sitter. Okay, I think that's enough. He's done several.
Okay, yeah, good for him.
There you go, Mr. Green. The budget was $20 million and the box office was $71.5 million. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a whopping score of 39%.
Okay, I was like,
yeah, I didn't know where that was going.
And IMDb gave it 5.9 out of 10.
Okay.
So let's talk about some cast members. There was a lot of them. I just did some main ones. But Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, is Laurie Strode. Judy Greer is Karen, who is Laurie's daughter. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I thought so. For some reason,
No, you're good.
I just doubted myself. Have more confidence, Felicia. Andy Medichuk is Allison, which is Laurie's granddaughter. The Shape, a.k.a. Michael Myers, was played by three people: James Jude Courtney, Nick Castle, who was the original The Shape. Yeah, Nick Castle. And then Aaron Armstrong. Sorry, Aaron, I didn't have an exciting thing like Nick Castle. Will Patton is Officer Hawkins. Dylan Arnold is Cameron Elam. Robert Longstreet is Lonnie Elam, who is the little boy who ran into Michael Myers on the street. Anthony Michael Hall is Tommy Doyle, which in the original was who Laurie was babysitting. Laurie Strode was babysitting that dreadful night. Kyle Richards is Lindsay, and she was the one that Laurie's friend was babysitting. I totally forgot her name. I'm sorry, Laurie's friend. And Nancy Stevens as Marion, who was the nurse in the original Halloween. All right. So now, are we ready for 2 minutes with Tawny?
yes. Okay, here we go. We should also say real quick before I start this, we are going to spoil the shit out of this movie. It's brand new, so if you don't want it spoiled, turn back now, go watch the movie, come back, listen. If you don't care, go ahead. That's your business. In 1978, Officer Hawkins accidentally shot his partner while trying to shoot Michael Myers. He then stops Dr. Loomis from shooting and killing him. Present day, right after the events of 2018's Halloween, an injured Hawkins promises to kill Michael to make up for his mistake. Laurie Strode, her daughter, and her granddaughter had trapped Michael Myers in her home and lit it on fire. They're on their way to the hospital when they see fire trucks headed to the house. Laurie is admitted after being stabbed in the stomach, and firefighters get massacred by Michael, who escapes the burning home. In another part of town, other Michael survivors from 1978, Lonnie, Tommy, Marion, and Lindsay, celebrate the 40th anniversary of his imprisonment. They are notified of Michael's escape and murderous rampage on his way back to Haddonfield. They form a vigilante mob to kill him and vow evil dies tonight. They mistake another man, though, from the mental institution who escapes for Myers and try to kill him at the hospital, where he kills himself to avoid the mob. Brutally, by the way. Let me just add that. Allison and Karen join the fight to take down Michael and find him at his home. Karen lures him out to where the mob is. They beat him with any tool available, and she stabs him in the neck? Back? I went back and double checked. I think it's back. Anne goes to see Allison back at the house. After she leaves, though, Michael kills fucking everyone. And then, as Karen is looking out of the window, he appears behind her and kills her too in Judith Myers' old bedroom. The end.
You know what? I listened to our episode that you did with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. You guys are awesome. And you mentioned in there how at the end of your 2 minutes with Tawny, I always say that was great. And you always edit it out. So that's why there's a weird pause, because I want to say great job, Tawny, and I don't.
It just feels like self-aggrandizing or something. Like I feel like that's why I take it out, because I'm like, I don't know, embarrassed. I'm like embarrassed about it. Like,
no, that was great,
funny.
though.
But that's why I pause, though. I always, because my first instinct is to tell Tawny how great she did. And then I'm like, nope, not going to do it. She doesn't like it. I'm
not
just kidding.
doing it.
Not doing it. All right, all right. So here is where we just go around and say, what did you think about it? We'll start with Haley, our esteemed guest.
Oh, thank you.
How did you feel
Thank you.
about this movie?
Yeah, I feel kind of bad because
I'm sorry. I felt bad.
like I did feel bad. Like after watching it and like taking notes to almost like halfway through, I realized that like I didn't have a single nice thing to say about it. And so I tried to like go back and like come up with like 3 things that I was liking so far. But like overall, I don't know. I think that it had a lot of like hype going into it, and my expectations were really high, and so that might have played a part into why I didn't enjoy it as much. But there's definitely a lot to say about it. Like, don't get me wrong, but not necessarily all good things.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's good. All right. Tawny, how about you?
You want me to go next? Okay.
Yeah.
I was also pretty just like, I don't know. I'm pretty meh. I was like, I like parts of this, and then other parts just feel so weird to me. Like I don't know. I was okay. I think that's where I landed. It was all right. Yeah. I don't think I feel like in some ways I don't know if I liked it as much as 2018's Halloween, but honestly, I don't even remember much about that movie either. So, I mean, again, these just aren't my jam. Slasher movies, Michael Myers in general, he's just not my fave, so.
Yeah, dude. Okay. I get that you didn't like the movie, but we don't have to start bashing Michael. Come on.
You're right. Come on. If there's anything I liked in this movie, it was Michael Myers.
Maybe it was just Michael, right? At least
Team
that.
Michael.
Yes.
So
how did you feel overall?
I'm right there with you, but I went in with those expectations.
Yeah.
I think that is why I was so impressed with Chucky, is because I truly loved all of the movies I was watching. Where Michael Myers, I did love the first one, the second one. I even loved the random third one, Season of the Witch. It doesn't even have Michael Myers. So I liked a sequence. And then I mentioned H2O and some other ones that came up I didn't like. And then it re-engaged me again with Rob Zombie. I fucking loved that movie. And then the next one was, it was fine. I remember liking elements of it. I was like, okay, that's cool. And I think I was like, okay, I like that because I remember not liking some other sequels. And so when I was going to watch this, Steve watched it with me, and I even said, okay, be prepared. This might be garbage. This might be absolute garbage. And he's like, yeah, I know. And so I kind of watched it with that expectation that I wasn't it was not going to be amazing, honestly, unfortunately. I love Michael. I think he was the best part of it, was just Michael himself. But yeah, I think it was okay. It was, you know, not sure where I was going to rate it, you know.
I feel like you definitely have to appreciate like the novelty of it. Like obviously it's like a whole franchise and like it has to pick up somewhere. But besides that, like I don't think, like if it were like a standalone movie, I don't think that I would have even liked it. Like I didn't even really like it that much, but even less if it were like on its own rather than like a part of this whole series, I guess.
No, that's a good point. This could not be on its own.
Oh, no.
Because, no way. Because I think some of the stuff that I enjoyed, I'm using that word very loosely, is the references to some of the stuff in the past that I was able to recognize.
Yeah. And I do think one of my biggest gripes, I think, with the movie is that it feels like a bridge movie. Like it feels like an interstitial to the other parts of the story, because you got the 2018 and then they're obviously planning a third in the sequel, Halloween Ends, and it feels like that. It's like, okay, this is just to get us from point A to point B. I honestly don't even know if we needed this. No, I don't know what they're planning, but yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, one of the things, don't know how you guys feel about it, but one of the things I didn't like was this whole reminiscent from the old characters that came back. Like, I know when we started talking about it, I was like, oh, I liked how the movies crossed over. That was one of my favorite parts, but not with the characters really. So for example, everyone knows Jamie Lee Curtis was in all the movies. Charles Cyphers, Kyle Richards, Nancy Stevens, and Nick Castle. So Nick Castle, the Shape. Nancy Stevens was the nurse, who was the nurse in the original Halloween that went to the sanitarium with Dr. Loomis and, you know, got her. She pretty much got, with Michael Myers, got her the same way, crawled up on top of the car, broke the window, pulled her head out. So Kyle Richards, the little girl, and then Charles Cyphers, who was a police officer. So they all were in the original one. So that's kind of cool. And they're all like talking about it. I like that idea, but I didn't like how much they focused on it and all the reminiscing. Oh, let's pan and all these characters and we're reminiscing. And even after Kyle Richards was fighting with Michael Myers, you know, long dark hair, if you don't know who she is, but she was the little girl in the original one. She looks identical, just older. She, and not older in a bad way. She's beautiful. But when she came back and everybody found her, they're reminiscing. Do you remember on that Halloween? She's all dirty. Yeah, I remember. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, fucking done. We know who you are. We know who you are. I didn't like all that. I thought that was, I don't know. I just thought that was one of the parts I liked the least about it.
You know what I'll say about that is I didn't mind it, but the thing that fucking sucked about it is this could have been Everyone Dies the movie. Like, that would have been great if maybe some of them had survived, but like everybody dies. So it's like, how are you going to make me semi-involved in these characters and then you're just immediately going to cut them down? It wasn't enough time. I felt like there wasn't enough character development for me to really give a shit about anybody, but there was just enough to where I felt like, oh, okay, we're going somewhere with this. But then no, everybody gets fucking cut down.
Yeah, and also, I feel like every time he killed someone, it was almost like diminishing, like it being something like crazy, because it was just like him slashing like left and right, almost like who even are these people? And I think I saw something on like Reddit or something that was like every time he like kills someone, like not only does he get a little bit stronger, but the people of Haddonfield get a little bit dumber because they're just like every year it's like this happens like every single or like however often, you know, like I feel like they need to know what's going on. Like, I don't know, or how do they not know that this is coming or have some sort of like preparation for his return, even if they're not anticipating it.
Yeah, exactly. There's several years in between. they're supposed to be several years. It's not like every Halloween, but it's definitely like we should be fucking scared every Halloween. You know, Michael Myers is probably the pinnacle focus of Halloween and everybody getting ready and being nervous about it. I totally agree. One thing about slashing everybody, that's something I do like about Michael Myers. He's not fucking around like Freddy, blah, 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 blah. I'm fucking around with my razor claws. You know, he's not, there's no bullshit. He fucking comes in and you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
There's no, like, he fucking is here to kill you and he kills you. And I do love that. But I also see what you're saying. You have all of these characters that survived the first time and now only to later in their years all fucking die.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, everybody's still alive. That's amazing. Cool. I'm excited. What's going to happen with these? Oh, nope, they're dead. Everybody's dead. Okay. But I don't disagree, Felicia. I do like, and I actually wrote down as one of my notes, he was actually scary in this one for me. Like, I was like, for the first time in my life, I actually feel like Michael Myers is a formidable foe because he doesn't stop. And it's just totally, indiscriminate killing. Like, he's just, whoever's in his way, he's gonna fucking murder them brutally. And I felt for the first time like, oh my God, this guy he just won't stop. And it's really terrifying. And so I liked that part for like the first half of really, honestly, the second half of the movie, I think just really takes a dive for me. But I was like, that part's great. He's scary. But as a movie, as like a person who's making the movie, you're going to introduce all these people and then just be like, bye. I don't know. I was like sad about it.
I actually flip-flopped.
Oh,
go ahead, Haley. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Actually, you go.
Okay, I'll say one thing and then I'll hand it over. I actually flip-flopped and I liked the last half more than the first half, but not like, it wasn't like significant to make an argument. Right, okay. But the reason is because when it first started, I was like, is this a comedy? Like, it was so fucking ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Overtly ridiculous. Like, in the 70s flashback, they are chasing Michael Myers. They see very clearly that he at least goes through this chain link fence that way. Then the two cops start reminiscing. Here we are with this reminiscing, walking the complete opposite direction, and then take a look at the view and they're fucking talking. And I even said to Steve, I'm like, I guess no one cares about catching the serial killer anymore. Like, it was just so ridiculous that I would wondered, but I didn't find anything about it. Were they trying to make it ridiculous acting like we see in Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, even Halloween? This kind of acting that's like in the 70s, since it's a 70s flashback. Is that what they were trying to do? I don't know. There was nothing in it, but it was just like so fucking ridiculous. There were times I felt it was slow, but then when he's just fucking killing, because I love Michael Myers, I just liked him killing. And I'm going to ruin.
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
No, keep going. And you're going to ruin what? No. I'm just having a revelation as you're talking. I see why you liked the second half more. That was exciting.
It was passionate.
Yes.
I was like, holy shit.
I saw the light.
The ending when, actually we can get to that later. Let's let Haley share, because there's more I want to say than just a snippet about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like you can't even tell, or I guess I didn't think that like the first one or the 2018 were trying to be funny at all. So when this one came out with like kind of like a comedy take on it, even like, I think this is one of the first scenes when the cop pulled up on like the 3 teenagers going trick-or-treating, whatever. It might have been a flashback, and he's just like, yeah, like, what are you guys doing? Like, this guy just murdered 3 teenagers right down the street. And then he just drives away, and it's like,
yeah.
What are you doing? I don't know. I'm like, it's just so ridiculous. Like the choices that everyone's making along the way.
Don't even get me started on the choices.
Well, let's talk about the choices.
I know. I was like physically frustrated.
I do want to say I did like the classic Halloween intro.
Yes,
I mean, literally the font and the pumpkins and the music. I really like that.
Me too. I was like stoked when that happened. I was like, oh, here we go. Like, this is the classic opening. I'm here for this.
And then one of those ridiculously, terribly acting cops were like, no, Tawny, here we don't go. Just kidding.
You thought.
It is supposed to be funny. It is. Like, there's moments of comedy for sure. And I thought there was moments of comedy in 2018. I honestly don't remember. But
I don't either.
Who is it? Danny McBride. Is that his name? Is one of the like executive producer, something like that on these movies. And he's known for comedy. He was in Pineapple Express, I think. Hopefully I'm not mixing up actors.
I don't know. I know the movie. I was just like,
yeah, sure. Like,
you tell me anything.
But there definitely is. And then you've got, obviously with Michael McDonald in this movie with Big John and Little John, like they are definitely the comedic relief.
Yes.
And it is supposed to be funny in moments. And I think the 2018 was also in some parts because that is the kind of balance that these people are looking for. But yeah, I felt like the balance was off on the comedy and horror.
Yeah, they do reference 2018 Halloween, which I don't remember fully. Often. I think they did a lot of, references back. Okay, so it was supposed to be funny. That's good to know.
Okay, yeah. It's a different take on it now, I think, maybe.
One thing I do have to say is we also just watched Hocus Pocus because we're going to be doing it with a podcast in Elm Street. We're doing an episode with them tomorrow. And I was like, parents without kids partying on Halloween, like, where and how does this fucking happen? I might just want to move to Haddonfield so that I can party.
Yeah,
they had all these parents fully dressed up in that bar partying, and I just noticed it because I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't get to party on Halloween. But anyways, that's a side note.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that's a very interesting place for them to be like commemorating like what happened 40 years ago, just like at the bar in some sort of like stand-up comedy situation, like pointing the lights on everyone that was there. Like, do you remember?
Yes. And then it's funny how they're like, we're having a talent show. And then he's like, let me get on stage and tell you the legend of Michael Myers. It was like so intense all of a sudden. And then like, who has to follow up that guy, the ventriloquist guy? Like, I was like, what is happening in this bar? If I were there in this bar, I'd be like, I am fucking way more drunk than I thought I was. Like, I have no idea what's happening.
How about the couple that's a doctor and a nurse, and they're really fucking into it? They're like, hey guys, be quiet. We're trying to watch the talent show.
Hey, can you relax?
This is an act.
Shit. Well, if we want to talk about, so I just feel like one of the things was the terrible acting. And maybe though what it was, not by everybody, but was what you're saying, Tawny and Haley, is that it was supposed to be comedic. So the comedic parts weren't done well enough, possibly. For example, because we're talking about that bar scene, when the woman dressed up as a nurse goes into the car, and the man who was from a mental institution, Tivoli, I believe his name is Tivoli. A sad note about him, the actor that played Tivoli, he died of lung cancer before he was able to, the movie came out. Yeah.
That's sad.
But he was in the back of the car, and she runs, and she's like, Michael's in the back of the car. Go look. And then he's like, oh, and she's like, what's wrong with you? Ah! And Brandon's like, I don't know. It wasn't fucking funny. And since it wasn't funny, it wasn't scary, which is the other emotion I'm thinking I need to feel right now. So it was neither. It looked like bad acting. And it wasn't just her. It was almost everybody, in my opinion. And so, besides Michael. And so, yeah.
Right. Yeah, like it needed to be either a little bit funnier or like nothing, no humor at all. Like to make that have been worth it, because and like even that same scene when she's with her husband, he's like, or they're running away, or they're like trying to go home because they know like what's happening, and he's like, oh, like I forgot my stethoscope, like that's super important that I need to go get that right now.
Yes,
like, we're on the run.
If this was supposed to be comedy, I didn't pick up on that, and it was just lame. because they're panicked about going back because there's fucking people being slaughtered on their street. Can you just fucking imagine? So either give me terrified people because people are being slaughtered, their neighbors are being slaughtered, or give me comedy throughout.
Yeah.
Because that did not work. Yeah, he's like, oh, hold on, I need my stuff. Oh my God.
We didn't read that as comedy. We thought it was serious and that it was an actual stethoscope. Like, that's how we justified it, because they're like swapped roles, right? Because she's a doctor and he's a nurse, even though they're dressed as the opposite. And I think maybe it could have been a real stethoscope. And we had like a whole conversation about it. Like, we were like, the stethoscope? Are you kidding me? Who goes back for a stethoscope? That's ridiculous. And then I was like, maybe it's a real one. Like, maybe stethoscopes are expensive and you have to go back and get it. But like, that's not, it's like a ridiculous conversation to have about like what is happening in this movie. Like, it's irrelevant to the story.
No, and you bring up a good point.
That big of a deal. Like,
you did not want your watchers, your movie watchers, to stop and talk about the fucking stethoscope.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like, that shouldn't be a part of it.
No.
I don't know, even if it was real, it's like, well, stethoscope or like your life, I guess, is like the question right now. I don't know.
Damn.
I love that you did that though, Tawny, because you were giving it a chance.
We were trying to,
We really thought about it.
Something I did like about it, I guess we'll just go back and forth. We liked, we hated, we liked, we hated. Something I liked, I loved the kills. I loved the variety of kills. I loved that, you know, he wasn't just like, I'm just going to stab you with a knife. I have a knife, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take this light bulb and stab it through your throat. Or, the stairs. That boy in the fucking stairs.
Yeah, that was insane.
Broken neck. That was, Jade and I were talking about it again after we had watched it. And we were like, that had to have been the most gruesome kill. And I was like, I don't know though. I mean, this wasn't a kill, but the guy who jumped from the hospital and landed, that was fucking gross. It wasn't a kill. It was awful, obviously, but it was also the most gruesome of all the deaths. Like, because they show it and it's like just gore fest, like broken limbs, and he's like still alive, twitching. Hated it. And also loved it, obviously, because I like gore. But I was like, ooh, yikes. The light bulb, though, got me.
That same scene when he kills her husband, I was like, damn, Michael loves sticking his hand through the window and just grabbing someone's head and like slamming it on the wall. Because I think he did that with Florrie, too, like in the 2018 one, maybe. That was like just his signature move, was just like... and like slamming against the fucking wall like right after they had found him.
Yeah, he fucks you up. He's not fucking around.
And he does.
You know, that suicide kill, I'm glad you brought that up. That was also a really hard one, because that was one of the only characters, minus Michael, but the only characters where I felt like any sort of emotional feeling towards. I didn't really fucking care much about any of the characters. But him, I did. Like, it was so fast, but I felt bad for him. I felt bad for that. I think they did a good job in that, where it was just for a moment, but like people were like, oh, he's Michael. And they're like, no, he's not. And he's running. And actually, I shouldn't say, because I liked the granddaughter as well. And I think, or not the granddaughter, the daughter also played a part in that moment where she's like, well, they're not going to hurt you. I'm not going to let them hurt you. And then she locked him in that, you know, between the two doors, and he didn't have any other way out. I felt something there. And so then when he plummeted to death, I was like, oh shit, that was sad. I mean, I didn't weep. Okay. I'm just saying.
Right. I think that's how you're supposed to feel. And I'm going to be honest, this is going to sound fucked up, but I didn't. I was like, I really want to care about this person, but I just haven't had enough time. I don't have enough context. Like, maybe there was some of that in the 2018 movie that I don't remember or something, because I do remember them escaping in the first movie. But I was just sort of like, I mean, obviously he's like an innocent guy. He's not Michael Myers, but they didn't give me like enough time with him. Obviously I care because he's scared of this mob, but I don't know. I just had a really hard time like connecting with it. And even the mob itself, like, that I love a good panicked set of people. You know this. I talk about this before. It's like one of the scariest things to me, I think, is a group of people panicked because they are unpredictable. You do not know what people are going to do, and you cannot control them. You can't reason with people who are fucking freaking out. I love that concept. And I for some reason, this mob didn't do it for me. I just was like, I don't know what it is, but I cannot connect with like what they're wanting me to. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like mad about the wrong thing, right? Like, I don't understand how. That was like one of the most frustrating parts for me was like, how are you guys thinking? Or there was like a time when someone was like, oh my God, like there's Michael Myers. And it's just like the 5-foot tall guy like screaming for help. And like, just, I don't know. It's just like, how did anyone think that was him? And then like people that have seen him, or even just like his stature, like he's almost like about 7 feet tall. I just don't understand how they thought that this little man who's like running away from them was the killer.
Was Michael Myers, totally. And the thing is that I think we need to try to remember is that in this universe, there hasn't been that many Halloween movies. There was Halloween 1 from 1978.
Okay.
There was 2018. And now this movie. So this is the first time in this timeline that he has escaped. And so I think we need to remember that. But I mean, having said that, I don't think that's a bad point, Haley, because I felt the same way. I was like, we know at least that he's wearing a mask, right? Like Tommy Doyle, or no, Lonnie. No, it's both of them. Both of them saw him when they were a kid wearing the mask. And you might not remember maybe how tall he was when you were a kid, but I just was like, yeah, exactly. This guy's running away. We're talking about somebody who is actively like murdering people. I also was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, the dude was very helpless.
I didn't buy that the people who had interactions with him would think that was him. Maybe the mob, because to everybody else,
right. They don't know.
They only know of the story of him. So if someone says that's him, they would follow. But like everybody else, like why now is he in like, am I remembering this correctly? He was in like a medical gown.
Yeah.
He was not in the fucking mechanic suit. He did not have a mask. Like now all of a sudden he's just slaughtered a bunch of people. He comes to the hospital, takes off his outfit, takes off his mask, and is running around barefoot in the fucking like, come on.
Yeah, like asking for help.
Yeah, they're trying to have this mob mentality and how scary it is. Because Tawny, you're absolutely right, how scary it is. And that's what I mentioned in, when we were with Horror Movie Crew about crazy religious people.
Yeah.
Because you have that mob, that group mentality, and you're able to like get people on board, and you're not able to convince them otherwise very easily. And it's terrifying. But yeah, it didn't really, I don't know. It didn't
for
really
some
work.
reason. Yeah, it just didn't have the impact that I think they were going for.
And I'm really sorry, but I'm not buying that. I actually wrote it down here. It made me giggle that when they were like, oh shoot, what's their thing? Not tonight or
Evil dies.
Evil dies
tonight. Right? He's like, evil dies tonight. And it's all quiet. And then this tiny, frail, pale, looks like maybe a housewife that has been locked in the basement and hasn't been fed goes, evil dies tonight. And she's the one that fucking everybody was like, yeah. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
I also thought that was weird. She was really putting in the work. That one, like, extra.
She said, I got this.
I said out loud, I'm like, oh shit, honey, you're going to be the first one to die. Yeah. I said that out loud. I'm like, please don't send her after Michael. Please, Jesus. Look at all the people that are formidable.
Yes.
Like, I was really counting on that dude with the bat and shit like that. Like, they were intense.
And then she's like, yeah, exactly what you're saying. She's like locked up for the last 15 years. She's like, this is my moment. She's like, evil dies tonight. Everybody goes, yes.
We believe in her. Yes. Follow her. That's stupid.
She said it best. that scene, when they realize that it's not him, and Lori and Karen are like trying to convince everyone, but obviously like the mob is so big. But that for some reason reminded me of the scene in Finding Nemo, where Nemo and Dory are like in the big fish net and they're like, swim down, is like them trying to be like, it's not him, against like this entire mob.
Holy shit, I need to make an audio clip out of that. Newsflash, Halloween Kills is just like Finding Nemo.
Just like Finding Nemo.
I know what you're talking about.
They're like
Haley.
in the net. Yeah.
Swim down.
Well, yeah, because like no one can hear them. They're getting like trampled, and it's just like, oh god.
That was
Here it
fucking
goes.
great. I love that.
It's too far gone. Really, honestly, though. Like, I think that is the scary part of the mob, and why I buy it in some ways is like, yeah, this has gone beyond what you're able to control. Like, this mob is going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do because they're just whipped up to a frenzy. Even the people who say this is not him, they're not listening because they're just panicked and they just want somebody to pay. I think that's like
they don't even know who they're chasing.
Yeah, I think it's a strong concept. I just, for some reason, it doesn't work. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it why, but
Yeah, well, because even Tommy is like punching people like to get out of his way to go find Michael Myers when he thinks that it's him, and like hurting people that are like in this mob like just to get through, and it just seems so like counteractive to like what they're trying to do.
yeah.
You know, I thought it was, and you know, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I love her movies. It was almost like, why was she in this movie?
Yeah.
She was in the hospital, and then she gets up and for a half a second, and then is back in the hospital bed. Understandably, she just had abdominal surgery and was
She's
stapled
hurt, yeah.
shut. And then it was just a bunch of, again, reminiscent talking to her old beau in the hospital room.
Monologues.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
No. No.
I know, she's like, Frank.
Remember when
Frank,
we
you up?
kissed?
Yes, totally.
What the fuck
Is
right
it really
now?
you? Like, she's having the time of her life in there.
Yeah. So much reminiscing.
Maybe when this is all over, we can get together once we're all
Yeah, and
healed
she's
up.
like, I don't have to fight. We're both going to be healed. We get to lay here.
I keep wanting to bring this up, so I'm going to bring up the end-ish. It's not actually now thinking about it, it's not the end. But it's when she lures, Lori's daughter lures Michael out into the street and then is like, whatever I say. And there's a bunch of people. She says something, and then there's people, right? That are like, oh, we're going to beat the shit out of you. So for a moment, and this might be an unpopular opinion with you guys, but for a moment, I liked that they were all beating him down, and I was here for it. It kind of reminded me of the Night Stalker, the real Night Stalker, where the community came together and brought him down. And I really liked that. I also liked that he killed them because I like Michael, and I like that he just started fucking everybody up and killing everybody because. But I did like that element at first of, you know, the community taking him down. And I think if they did take him down and he was arrested, or I guess ultimately if they killed him, but they couldn't, I might have been okay with that too. Because I just thought that, again, community coming together, and then you had some of the people who were the kids at that time fighting back. What do you guys think?
I feel like the point of the movie, and Lori says this, so she kind of reinforces it. Like, you can't kill him with brute strength. Like, we were wrong. We thought we could kill him with brute strength, and we cannot. And so I think, like, the point of the movie is sort of like, this vigilante mob shit is not going to work. But then I'm left with, okay, well, what the fuck is going to work? Because obviously the police didn't work. The fire department didn't work. What the fuck are we going to do? Call in the National Guard? They're not going to work either. He's just going to kill all of them. I'm like, what are we supposed to do? What's the answer? If we're going to take this like metaphor road and say like, you can't fight fire with fire because you're just adding to the pile of, you know what I mean? Like bodies, essentially. What is the fucking answer? Because this guy is out here murdering people like crazy. I don't know. I felt like that was the point of the movie, but I didn't know what else it was trying to posit instead. And so I was left with like, I wanted the mob to win, even though I think the movie is trying to tell you otherwise. I think the movie's trying to be like, this is wrong. Vigilante justice, you can't just do this. But I was like, but I wanted them to win because I'm like, this guy is terrorizing him. So I think in that way, I do feel the opposite, Felicia, because I feel like I'm putting myself more in the mindset of these people who live in this town. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, you would take him down just like the Night Stalker, right? These people have been fucking terrorized. And they're obviously going to take matters into their own hands. And so you want them to win on some level. And I almost feel like I wish that had been pushed to the third movie or something, because I'm like, what's going to happen now? If this didn't work, how the fuck do you defeat this?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, like they almost like prove it like beyond the point of like he's unkillable or like supernatural or whatever he is. So it's always just so interesting when they come up with a new plan or like, all right, we're gonna like split up and like this time will be different. Like you guys go here and like you take this like baseball bat and like I think you'll get him this time. Like I don't know, it's just like okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, where are all your fucking guns? Okay, we
Yeah,
got
like,
one
when is
person
it?
with a gun. Stop. Everybody else is out here with fucking bats. I saw like this picture somebody had posted. Some lady was out there with her iron. I'm like, okay, this is laughable. So many more people have guns. And you're not just shooting this guy. That's like, I think that's my biggest problem with the movie. And not to get off on a tangent because we can kind of finish up this other conversation. But that's like the thing. It's like, you're not going to just finish this guy off. Come on. You had 18 fucking chances. And I get that we still think he's like a regular human being and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, Karen stabbed him in the back. It kind of looks like it might be the neck, but to me, it looks like she stabs him right in the back. And so it's like, I don't know. I just was like, why don't we just, if we're going to do it, if we're going to get a mob together to kill this guy, fucking kill him.
Okay, so this is a perfect segue because let's talk about really stupid fucking decisions. Why the fuck didn't she pull that pitchfork? I said right here, keep stabbing with the pitchfork. I have it with a bunch of exclamation points. We all already know he has survived almost everything. Why not pull it out, stab him, pull it out, stab him, pull it out, stab him, like multiple times. No, she fucking stabs him and let's go. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Goodness me. Fucking keep going. I know you probably can't just pull it out easily. Put your fucking foot on his back. Yank it out. Fucking do it again. Do it in the back of his neck and his head. He's going to kill your daughter. He's fucking killing everybody. Like, fucking do it. Because I know, like, maybe they're like, well, we don't want to do that because we don't want it to be too unbelievable that he's still alive. Well, now you've lost me here because this is just fucking stupid. Yes, totally. From this, like, I do feel like from the middle part of the movie on, I'm just like, what the fuck is everybody doing? Anybody who does have a gun suddenly cannot shoot for a goddamn thing. They can't hit anything and shit. And he just keeps pushing people's like guns out of the way. I'm like, oh my Jesus. God. Oh my God. When Karen's daughter came out, I'm going to run towards you all the way with my shotgun. And so that you can take the barrel and push it. What the fuck? You were like this badass chick the whole fucking time. And now you're like a fucking idiot. No, she was not like a badass chick like chicks we like. Not like our final girl chicks. But just like, fuck this. I'm going to go get him. And like you have a shotgun. And you run towards him like a fucking whining toddler. Stupid. So he could hit the gun out of your hand. I'm obviously hated that. I was so pissed. I was like, are you that stupid? Just fucking shoot him and still have him live. I'm going to believe that more than this fucking thing that just happened. Okay, I'm going to calm down. Okay, but in her defense, because I agree, all that shit was dumb. It was dumb. But I feel like she's the only one who got in a really good fucking hit because he kicks that like gun out of the way. She drops it. Immediately pulls out this knife and fucking stabs him like 3 times in the gut. Like I was like, oh my God, that was. Yeah. So she followed it up with a moment of like, oh shit. That's true. Okay, well at least she landed 3 fucking blows, which is more than anybody else has to say about like hitting him.
Like she put in her work.
Yes. Oh yeah, and then she goes to the bottom of the stairs with her broken leg. Come and get me.
That was
I can barely fucking move. But
I was like, no,
I'm gonna get you. No, but I do agree with you with the stabbing. But even when she went into the room where the 2 guys were dead, She drops her gun. Oh, the dude doesn't even have fucking eyes. Like, just move on. What are you gonna do? Do you know these guys?
Oh my God.
Don't even mourning these guys?
I know. Not even mention the fact that she goes out in the first fucking place. I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do as like a 14-year-old girl? Like an entire fucking fire department couldn't take out this guy. And they like are fucking adult men with fucking weapons. Like, what are you talking about? You think you're gonna go make a difference? No. Obviously frustrated.
Yes. Oh Lord.
No, I didn't think it was
even
funny
the dad. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, go.
I was just gonna say, like, in the same house, like Big John and Little John, I think that Big John was carrying a little knife and Little John was carrying a big knife, and they're both just kind of playing like Marco Polo, like around the house, kind of like no real plan in mind, just like winging it and waiting to get killed, and then he just gets stabbed in the fucking armpit.
Yeah.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh yeah, that was a terrible way to die. I forgot about that. I was like, damn, what a place to get stabbed. That would suck.
Yeah, that's something I haven't really seen
I've never
before.
seen that.
Yeah. And then pressed out his eyeballs and mangled his face.
Oh yeah, that was
How did you guys feel about that Big John, Little John? I just thought, like, I liked the couple in general, but when they were doing this, Big John, Little John, me and Steve both were like, how about you shut the fuck up so that you could sneak up on him? And the pairing night, I don't know. I just thought it was ridiculous.
It did.
Yeah,
this
it just doesn't make sense.
Yes, it was funny. I feel like the first couple times, and then they just keep doing it, and you're like, okay, it's funny at first. Now this is crazy, and I just cannot take Michael McDonald seriously. Like, I just laughed the entire time I saw his face because I watched Mad TV growing up, and so I'm like, I just can't take this person seriously, which is fine because they're supposed to be a comedic role. But I just was like, I don't know, I liked them, but it just felt so totally like tonally opposite of the rest of the movie that it just I couldn't get on board. Kind of, I didn't hate them. I thought it would have been fine if maybe there had been more comedic elements throughout the rest of the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it is, that they were very comedic, a lot of stuff that they were saying. And just like you mentioned, how they were doing that, like Marco Polo, I'm glad you brought that up. And when there wasn't as much, or maybe there was just as much, and we just didn't pick up on it because it wasn't delivered well. Comedy throughout the rest of the movie, right? Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you just like wanted more from them.
All right. Well, what did you think about the end? The end is where he shows up in the room. And so I'll start it off, and he kills her.
Like the very, very end?
Kills Laurie's daughter. I didn't mind it. I wasn't super attached to her. I did think, oh, that sucks. It's Laurie's daughter. She's going to be upset when she finds out back at the hospital with her bow. It didn't bother me that, because I saw some stuff online. It's like, how the hell did he end up back there at the house after being beat up over here? And my comment to the people that were saying that, I felt like going, how the hell, after all these Halloween movies, did you not realize he has this very supernatural ability to get places? You know what I mean? Like, that's Michael. Like, that is just, I don't know. That's just who he is. On our Instagram, I posted a funny video with Michael, and it's like this guy pretending he's Michael. He's like, yeah, man, I get around. I put in the work. I'm there. You're not there. And that's exactly who he is. So I didn't mind it. I didn't have any big emotional response to it either way. I actually said to my husband, geez, why don't they just fucking let him live in his house? Just like leave him alone, board up the house, because he fucking starts here.
That's all he wants.
Slaughters everyone until he gets to the house. He's not even going after Laurie. He doesn't fucking care. Just let him live in his house. I know he killed a lot of people, but maybe like just like lock him up there in his house.
No, exactly. That they even say it too. Like, he has a pattern where he'll like creep and then stalk and then kill people, and then all he wants to do is like go and stare out the window, and it's like, okay, like let him do that. And then they decide to like come to his house to hunt him, when that's like, I don't know, like they could have just completely avoided that. And I feel like she should know better, having stabbed him and like not even waiting to like make sure that he's like done for, you know? She's like, yeah, like probably gonna go to like his favorite place in the entire world next to the window, like immediately after, and just see what happens. And yeah, so then I was like, okay, well, Team Michael, like honestly, like you just can't be doing that.
Seriously, everybody's so confident that he's dead for years and years and years. Like if I was that woman, Laurie's daughter, I wouldn't just go, yeah, the mob will take care of you now. I'm going to go back to your house and look out the window. Like I would be there, like fucking like, is he done? Is he really, really done? No, they'll take care of it. Like, so when he killed her, I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that sucks. Because again, you're going to like put me through all of these people. And now I feel like we're kind of back where we started. That's the thing is like, I feel like this movie sort of did and undid all of its own shit. Like, it's like, great. Now we're back where we started with Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And that's it. Why did we have this whole fucking intermission where he had to kill everybody else in town when we're just gonna end up with a face-off of Laurie and Michael? And honestly, like, that is kind of where I'm at. I'm like, are they just gonna let him live in the house? Is that where we're going? If the answer is not we can kill him, is it we just let him live in the house? What a fucking anticlimactic movie that's gonna be. I don't know. What
that
the
seems
fuck?
like the only option. Yeah, I feel like really the whole time it was just giving some great, like, what not to do when there's a serial killer in your town examples. Like, they just did everything perfectly wrong. So then it just seemed like, okay, then whatever's coming next, like, I can't help you here.
You did it to yourself. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, again, I think we have to remember that it's not like he has been almost killed a bunch of times and didn't die. That hasn't happened in this universe. You have to like wipe all of the Halloween movies. But still, Laurie Strode, her mom, is terrified of this guy and feels like he has to be ended. Like, how does that not influence your decision making? So even taking out he seems like he's dead a million times and isn't dead. Wouldn't you just for your mom's sake, fucking make sure that he's finished? You know, like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she already lied to her about him being alive too.
I also don't have a lot of positives. Like, the only other positive that I have is like the soundtrack was great, but it's because it was based on the original soundtrack. They just like reused it probably and like added, maybe cleaned it up, added some stuff just a little bit, but it felt very classic, very reminiscent of the original. And I liked that.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like old. It felt good.
Yeah, there were some things that happened in the original that I saw that I was like, oh, that reminds me of that, which I thought was cool. Not necessarily all of the old characters coming back, but one, like the nurse, when he broke the window and pulled her out, I was like, oh, that happened in the first one with the exact same lady. And there was something kind of cool about that. And I have some others that I noted. So the masks that the corpses were wearing on the merry-go-round in the park, those were the masks from Silver Shamrock masks from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to give myself credit for that. I found that trivia. Okay. I thought that was pretty cool. I did know the nurse thing though. And actually, if you have seen the movies that made us, the Halloween version, I won't explain anything if you haven't. There's only one piece, which is when they get the nurse, when Michael smashes the car window and pulls the nurse out, they had to put a wrench in his hand to actually break the window. And if you look closely, you can see the wrench. So in this one, you can also see the wrench if you look closely. It's kind of like the same, what did they say? They called it like a, rigging of how can we get him to smash the glass? And they obviously didn't want you to see the wrench taped to his hand. They did it in this one too, which I thought was cool. And just like
that's a neat nod.
Yeah. And the one where this one I did see when Loomis, when they come in and when the cops come in and say that there's a dead dog, they don't show that in the original one, I don't think, but Loomis and the police officer do mention that there's a dead dog that's been partially eaten in there. which I thought that was cool too. And actually, I wrote this trivia down. Maybe this is why there was such a big deal about the stethoscope.
Oh, okay. Hit us with it.
I totally forgot about this. How he was strangling him with a stethoscope in the car is a nod to Halloween 2 when Michael Myers strangles someone with a stethoscope.
Oh, okay.
So they just needed to do that better though. Or maybe not. Maybe maybe for people who would have remembered about the stethoscope, they would have been, a stethoscope. But that was like a lot of fucking movies ago to remember that shit, right?
Yeah.
Something I wanted to go back and look at is the wagon that was stolen by Michael Myers from Dr. Loomis and the nurse at the Smith Grove Sanitarium in the original movie. You can actually see parked behind young Hawkins and Pete McCabe, which are the cops. During the flashback, you could see it parked. And I didn't catch it, and I would just want to go see it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a neat little trivia. I want to give a shout out to Stethoscope Guy. I do feel like he was one of the best. He made some of the best choices. Like, I like how quickly he acted in that moment, trying to strangle Michael. I appreciated that. That's all.
Yeah, like, he's already in there. He might as well. But that scene was and like, even when Michael like opened the door on the nurse and it just like immediately hit her hand and she shot herself, I was just like, oh
yeah,
God. Totally. Please.
You're like, man, I mean, I kind of like in a way that it's like these ways that you wouldn't ever think people would die, because it feels in a way more realistic, because you're kind of like, oh shit, didn't even think that was a possibility. Like you just wouldn't see that in a movie, I feel like, most times. But you can't help but feel like, oh my God. Okay, people with the guns.
Help them.
Nobody's out here who knows how to handle a gun. Nobody can fucking aim a gun.
Why the fuck was the nurse shooting out all of the windows of the car?
It didn't make any fucking sense.
Why didn't somebody fucking jump in the driver's seat? And I don't know, maybe somebody had the keys or something. I don't know. But she's just shooting all of the fucking windows, just making it easier.
Yeah, and for no reason. I feel like that's like one of the rules of just the road. Like, never leave the driver's seat empty if there's like something going on, or like, because there's no way for you guys to get away easily. Like, why would they ever think to just at least not fill that seat once Lindsay had gotten out? Or like, I don't know, something had to be different about that.
That's a great rule.
Yeah.
I like that, Haley. Never leave the driver's seat unattended.
I don't think that exists, but it should.
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
A good one.
Well, then there it is.
Because I think it a lot, like just like jump in the driver's seat, get ready, go.
Well, because it happens so many times. I mean, like, obviously they don't know, but like it does happen so many times throughout these movies where it's just like, okay, your only way out of here, like if you were to survive, would be by like driving the car, or like obviously you can get out on foot, but like, I don't know, just some common sense was lacking there for sure.
Yeah.
They had one piece. There was when the cop, when Michael in the house attacks, this is a flashback, Deputy McCabe with a rope. In the original Halloween, the sheriff says that a rope, Halloween masks, and a set of knives were stolen from the hardware store. And so that's why they brought that back. So I like these. I like little overlaps like that. I didn't necessarily recognize that, but knowing it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like they really thought back to that original one. What were the weapons he had? What was the situation? And I like that type of pieces.
I liked the flashback scenes too. I feel like they were well done. They felt like they had existed in the first movie, even though we didn't see them. Right? Like I feel like that was
the acting.
Right. No, totally, though. Even like, I mean, Dr. Loomis, I feel like, is a standout of how bad he is. He's like, tell me, what is his name? Like,
did he kill again?
Did he kill again? Yeah, it's so over the top.
But he is over the top. I have a cool thing about that. Dr. Loomis was not played by Donald Pleasence.
Oh.
He was played by a set constructor, Tom Jones Jr. With makeup on, he had an uncanny resemblance of Dr. Loomis. So he was the Dr. Loomis, but then they dubbed.
Oh.
Yeah, the voice over.
Okay. Did he die, Donald Pleasence?
Oh, did he? He did. Okay, that's why. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he He died in 1995. That's when I graduated high school. He's been dead a very long time. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right. He died in France.
He looks, I mean, just like him.
Wow.
In the-
yeah,
in
he
the
looks
movie.
just like him. Yeah, he does.
Oh, so that really was not him that they
No.
had flashed back to?
Nope, that was
They
not
didn't
digital.
even
I
just
think.
like take that scene from
Mm-mm.
Halloween. Wow.
He was an actor.
Okay.
Well, he wasn't an actor. He was a set instructor. He just looked like him. They're like, come on over, buddy. Come on over, Tom.
Yeah, they could have fooled me. Get in here.
I have something I just thought was interesting. Kyle Richards, that scene where she's fighting with Michael, she's the one with the long black hair who played the little girl in the original one. When she was fighting with Michael in the park, she broke her nose and she didn't tell anybody because she didn't want to ruin the scene. So she didn't tell anybody until they said cut. And then she's like, I think my nose is broken, and her nose was broken.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's fucking...
That's dedication.
I just want to give her an
Ow.
applause because someone breaks your nose and you keep going. I would have been like, holy fuck. I can only imagine. Like when you knock your nose just like a little bit, like,
Oh, that hurts so bad.
holy shit.
That's
She
one of
just
the
kept
worst
going with it.
pains.
She didn't
No.
want,
I'd be like, hold on.
we need to
Whoa, whoa,
call
whoa.
a plastic surgeon stat. Crack this mother in place. No, she didn't say anything. She didn't want to interrupt filming.
Okay, good for her.
I know it's random, but I
Um,
felt like I needed to shout her out for that.
We did need to know. Yeah.
Yeah, if that happened to me, I feel like I would need people to know.
I have a couple things that I don't know if Tawny's going to keep in or not. They're two things, and they're placed under my outline that is controversy notes.
Oh.
Okay. There's two controversy notes, and I do have an opinion on them, and I think it'll be okay. All right. The
scared.
first one is that there was this little uprising of people who were very, very upset and didn't want the movie released because Michael was killing firefighters. So
I did see something about that.
yeah, my personal, and I stand behind it, only take on this is, while I love firefighters and everything that they do for us, Michael kills everybody. And if he's killing firefighters, and if there's characters that are firefighters in a movie, in any movie, what about ones that are cops, ones that are kids, ones that are just humans, like just human beings in general? Like we should never have humans killed in general because of that, the whole idea anyways of people dying. So it didn't go very far, but there were some people who were like really upset and wanted the scenes of the firefighters being killed in the beginning taken out. There were actual firefighters that got to be in the movie. It was oh shoot, I didn't write it down. I'm so sorry, but firefighters from that area where they were filming that got to be in the movie and in those scenes. But yeah, that was some controversy around that.
I mean, also, it makes sense. It's not like Michael is going out of his way to kill firefighters.
To find firefighters. That's true. It's like it's a part of it. He's coming out of a burning house
Well, he
versus
was
it's
in a
not like he's
fire.
going down the street and there's like a fire station. I'm going to go
Right.
over there and gratuitously
You know who
kill.
I hate is firefighters.
Yes. So
Weird.
there's that, and the only other one, which if people have a different opinion, let us know. I don't understand it. Is so I think it started as a joke, or some people are joking, some people aren't, but people wanted to cancel Michael Myers and Halloween because
God.
they are calling him homophobic because he killed a gay couple. And my only thing there is he kills everybody, like literally everybody. He kills everybody. And this couple was in his house. No matter who the couple was. When they were out there talking to the little kids and they said, this is Michael Myers. You know who lived here, Michael Myers? Me and Steve both went, oh shit, these guys are going to die.
Totally dead.
And it would have been anybody. It's Michael Myers' house. But yeah, there was a whole, you know what? I used to like Halloween. I looked at some of the things. I used to like Halloween, but he's obviously homophobic because he killed this couple. But he killed everybody. Like I don't understand. But there's that. And those are the two controversy notes that I have because it's been in the news and there's a lot out there about it.
Yeah. I saw something about the firefighters for sure, which I thought was interesting because it's not like they play it up in a way where it's like, hey, like he's killing firefighters right now. Like this is something like standout-ish or whatever. Like he was in a literal fire and they were like trying to come save him.
Right.
And he kills people. Like that's like the entire basis of the movie. Like I don't know like what was so, or like why it had to be like, that's just interesting that was a controversy at all.
Yeah, if he was probably like drowned in a lake and he was fighting his way out of the lake and there was park rangers, he's gonna kill the park rangers. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Like, it's just the next step.
On park rangers is just
park rangers.
They're in the way of my house and I'm going there. I mean,
sorry,
I also don't know
to be a firefighter.
I'm open to hearing other, because this is just my first reaction upon hearing that. Like I do also feel like that seems almost like manufactured drama about it. Like it's like I don't understand why people would be upset about it because he is such an indiscriminate killer, and also it's not like Michael Myers is the pinnacle of fucking morality. It's not like whoever he kills are bad people or something. Like
he's already canceled. Like
he's
a killer.
Awful person.
I don't know.
Killing people all the time. Terrible.
He's already canceled as a killer.
Yes.
Nothing he does is going to be like, oh, but actually, sorry, like, let me just avoid them to go around them and kill someone else.
Yeah.
Which if he did,
to be fair,
it wouldn't make sense. So you would have to... Oh, go ahead.
There was the one time that he didn't kill a baby. You remember that? In 2018?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't kill the baby. So babies are safe for some reason. I don't know. Maybe not all babies. Maybe just that one specific baby.
Oh, yeah.
That was very weird.
And this little boy, there was one little boy in this movie that he didn't kill, but other kids ran up, but he didn't kill all the kids. Now, though, if they would have made that move, that he then slaughters all of those children on the street. Whoa. What? Imagine the reaction to that.
Then, yeah.
Fuck.
What then? Who can he kill?
That would have been intense.
If not children, then who?
If not now, then when?
Yes.
If not you, then who?
Oh my God. I'm trying to think, like, he has tried to kill children. There's one, I loved this one when I was young. I believe it's his niece, or I'm not remembering. It's one of in the top 5, I believe. And her name is Jamie. I'm forgetting what role she plays. She's related to him. He tries to kill her a lot the whole movie. So he's not opposed to it, you know. All right. What else? Anything else?
Oh, I'm looking through things I liked. I feel like I need to add another. Oh, something that I saw, I think this was posted on Reddit, was like, it was kind of surprising, back to the firefighters, how they got out there so fast. Since her house was like kind of in the middle of nowhere, like out in the boonies, they got there while she's like driving back from like being saved and telling them like, no, like don't go save him, you know. It was just kind of like, okay, that's interesting that they ended up like being called out there so fast, or like were able to like get there so fast and like get him out of there.
When I like how Haley turned that into a positive. It's so interesting that they had a very high response time.
I mean, one thing that's really great about firefighters is how fast they can get out there. That's what I like about them. But it was very interesting because that's like the whole point of like her whole setup, you know, was like to be like out in a place where you can set a house on fire and people aren't going to respond very fast.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good
maybe
point.
That wasn't a positive.
It was weird. And then she has neighbors. I also don't remember exactly from the 2018 movie, but I did feel like she was pretty isolated. And then it was like, now she has neighbors? I don't know. I was also a little thrown off by that.
Yeah, there were a few like inconsistencies for sure. I think was like
And
the
you
main
loved them.
confusion. And I loved every single one, especially the firefighters.
Oh God, that's funny. Yeah, I should have rewatched 2018. Honestly, I didn't. From what I remember, though, I do feel like I agree with you guys that she was supposed to be like super remote. I don't remember her having neighbors, but maybe she did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I do love Jamie Lee Curtis, and I wish that she would have been in it a little more. And I thought it was funny how she like thought she could get up and stab this, like, what was it, like some sort of painkiller, morphine, whatever, like it was like a fucking EpiPen.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever, like, and then just like straight back down, like Jamie down. Yeah, I don't know. It was cute.
Because I like how much of a badass she is. Like she's like, I'm fucking out here to kill this fucking guy. Like she's in it to win it. But also she's just a human being. And so I like how when she tries to do that, it doesn't really work the way that she wants it to. Even though you're rooting for her, you hope that she does well, but she is not in fighting shape. And so I liked it.
No.
Yeah, okay. I also like Jamie Lee Curtis. But I felt, and maybe I was looking into it too much, but I felt like this was not going to be good from the beginning because of the amount of surgery she had. So this is a lot of detail focusing on this abdominal surgery. She's completely cut open. She's being stapled, a whole thing. She cannot fucking move. I've had a C-section, 3 of them. Okay. It's not even the amount of stomach cut open that was hers. And it is fucking hard to even lift yourself up in bed.
Oh, okay.
And so when I saw that, I thought, okay, is she just going to get out of bed? Like literally a nurse lifted me out of bed after my C-section. So I'm just saying, like, I even said it to Steve. I'm a little worried about this, but in a way of I'm not going to like this. Because if she jumps out of bed and just rips out her IVs and shit and starts going to kill people, this is fucking not realistic.
Yeah.
So she does get out of bed. It's laborious, so that's good. And then she gives herself the medication. And I said to Steve, what if it knocks her out? I mean, I've been on pain medication before and I'm pretty woozy and wonky. Like what? This is only going to heal the pain. It's like a fucking massive shot of Tylenol or Advil, maybe.
Yes.
Not morphine, not a drug that you're like, and that was a fucking lot of it. It was literally liquid Benadryl, maybe, or something that just helps with, not Benadryl, but because there's no way she's going to knock herself out. And then when she starts fighting and she's in pain, I like that because she would be fucking hurting hardcore. And then she goes down so quick and back in her bed. I was like, what even was all of this? Like, what was the point of, I like that she's a fighter. I really do. I thought maybe if it was just a little bit, or maybe she joined the fight. Maybe it was a little bit less and she joined the fight. I don't know.
It was like they were trying real hard to keep her in the movie, almost.
When there really wasn't a spot for her.
Yeah. And it's like, we don't need it.
Yeah.
It's like, now we're going to go with this, mob plot for the second movie. We don't need her that much.
Yeah, maybe they fucked up by either like getting her so injured that it wouldn't have been realistic for her to get back up, or like including that part, or like they could have like maybe even waited a little bit of time for her to like realistically like have healed, whatever, so that she could have been in the movie more. Because I feel like even with all the like advertising for the movie, it was like her. And so I had just expected, and like obviously everyone loves Jamie Lee Curtis, like her to have been in it or play a bigger part rather than just be completely like hospitalized the entire time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's good that she was resting, I guess.
I hope they heal and she, makes some good love to that guy she likes.
Yeah.
Because he was fucked up in his neck and he survived too.
They're for sure getting together.
Too bad. I don't know if they're still able to procreate, but those are going to probably be some strong babies there. I mean, you never know
we
these
only
days.
saw them for part of the movie, so you don't know what was happening.
All right, so now the time has come for ratings. Who wants to start? Do you want to start? Our most esteemed and distinguished guest, Haley. Hoekstra.
I would love to. I have no previous ratings, so this is just, it's out of 5, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
out of 5.
Okay, so I mean, I was in between a 2 and a 2.5, 2.5 out of 5, and I feel like I liked it a little bit more after like hearing your guys' opinions. I know we were mostly negative, but so I think I'm gonna stick with a 2.5 out of 5. I know that's like actually very low, but I think that's what it deserves.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, I don't know. Like I have to like at least somewhat compare it to the Halloweens that came before it, or like at least, you know, the original and the 2018, and compared to those two, I don't think it really stands a chance. So yeah, and that's my final rating, 2.5.
I love it. I love your confidence. I mean, not necessarily like, oh, I love your rating.
Thank
That's
you.
great. But I love your confidence, and that's
In
fair.
the rating.
Yeah. Good,
You
good
like
job.
my rating?
Good job, Haley.
All right, well, I'm not gonna change it. So
How about you, Tawny?
I'm going to go with a 2.75.
ooh,
All right. That's what you gave Friday the 13th.
Yeah, because I think I liked it on that same level. Like I liked it more than Creepshow, which I gave a 2.5. But I think I liked it there. But I can't go up to a 3. I don't know that I'd recommend that people watch it, even honestly. Like I'm like, you could probably skip this. You could probably watch Halloween 2018 and then Halloween Ends. I should reserve my judgment because we haven't seen that one, obviously. But I'm like, what are they going to do in Halloween Ends that you had to have watched this movie for? You know?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm on the same page as you guys. My score is a little higher, but it's literally the same wave pattern of thinking. I'm giving it a 2.9 only because I gave Friday the 13th 2.85, and I feel like I enjoyed it just as much as Friday the 13th, except it's Michael. So I really like Michael. We all know this. I'm a big fan. So I'm giving that little bump. It's not even a half a point. It's just a little bump because of Michael and his kills. But it's pretty much in line with everything you were saying. It's just a tad more than A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. But it's less than a lot of the other movies that I've seen that I just enjoyed more.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Unfortunately, like, I don't think you have to see this one. I mean, depending on the next one, like how much. I read that it's literally just a continuation of that night. So you probably would have to have seen it if you want to see the next one. But is it vital at all that we even watch these movies? Depending, I guess, what happens.
Man.
Yeah, it could have been like a trailer, maybe. You'd be fine seeing the trailer and then moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you get most of what happens in the trailer, honestly. That's sad.
So we hope you guys enjoy it.
So go and see Halloween Kills.
And this is a little bit different of an ending. Usually we're like, hey, plug yourself. You know, like, so where can people find you and this and that? But if you don't want people to find you, but you might, because if you want Haley to run your social media, but we come first. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, really, just go to the Two Chicks and a Horror Flick Instagram. I feel like I spend more time on there than my own Instagram. But if you really want to follow me, I think my handle is just Haley.Hoekstra, and maybe I'll tag myself in something so that people can see me.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, okay. We're going to have you do that intro post. I mean, we're not going to have you like we dictate what you do, but we would love for you to do an intro post.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There should be a TikTok coming out soon. And I'll post a little video of our faces so you can see, first of all, our outfits and also my face.
Mine's yeah. Awesome. We love you, Haley. We are so happy you're a part of Two Chicks and a Horror Flick. And thank you so much for being on the show tonight. And we can't wait to have you on the show again in 2022. We're going to have you. And I think you want you and Alice on the show.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. My roommate. Yeah. I'm excited already for that. Well, thank you guys so much. This is so fun.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely.
So next week, we are going to be talking to Kara, a listener, a friend, one of my favorite people in the world. We've known each other since college. We went to college together. And in November, we're actually going to do like a Friendsgiving theme. So every episode, we're going to have a friend on in November and talk about a movie that they want to bring on and they want to talk about. So Kara, we're going to talk about Carrie, which is like one of her favorites. Maybe her favorite. I don't know. Don't want to speak for her. Don't want to put words in her mouth. And we flip-flopped on a couple different options, but she was like, I love this movie. And I was like, dude, you should come on and talk about this movie just before anybody takes it, you know, before anybody else like grabs it. So we're going to be talking to her, and then you'll get to see, you know, our plans for the rest of the month as we release it. So yeah, that's going to be super fun.
Yes. And if you want to stay up to date, just like Tawny said, if you want to know what else we're going to release, definitely check us out. You can go to twochicksandahorrorflick.com. And from there, you could choose your poison. If you are an Instagrammer, there's links to there, to Facebook, to Twitter, wherever you want to go, including our Discord horror community, where we just talk, and we love engaging. And what else, Tawny?
You can also support the show, again, by going to our website. You can find all these links on our Patreon, or we have some merch, too, that you can buy. And you can also subscribe and rate and give us a review on whatever you're listening to us on. But Apple Podcasts seems to help us the most. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next. Thank you again, Haley, for being here. You're amazing.
Yay, thank you.
We hope you guys have such a good night. No nightmares.